Hey guys, what's up? Um, I'm just popping in, to say hey and readjust my framing because it's weird looking right now. So I haven't made a video in a while, and I know that, and I'm sorry, and time gets away from you sometimes, especially when you're taking 18 credit hours. Here's a tip: don't ever go over like 16, 17. Like 18 for some reason is like really exhausting because I'm basically taking 8 classes. So it's ridiculous. In this video, I would like to talk about, well, first I'm going to give you an update of my life on what's happened, because there's been some really good news. But I'm going to talk about family in this video. And I know I made one earlier that, was kind of like it, but I'm going to talk more about it. With your family, you're a different person than when you're with your friends. Everybody knows that. But when you're with my family, you're a different person altogether. Like, altogether. I can never tell my parents some of the things I tell my sister. My sister, I don't really consider her family. I consider her more of my friend, in a sense. Like, she's closer to me than anybody else. But, she's more my best friend than my sister. But if anybody ever, messed with her, or if anybody ever messed with me, shit will go down. So, as I like to call it, the ghetto will come out. As I like to say. But with your family, you're a whole different person. And we all know that, because with your parents, there are things that are acceptable. And with your grandparents, there are things that are acceptable that are not acceptable around that are acceptable around your friends, you know what I mean? Like, there's a different mentality around it all. And I think that is where issues such as being yourself really fall. I would love to be myself around my parents, completely. But I know that if I were to ever bring someone home, like a date home, who was a girl, I know that my parents would probably either freak out or in another sense, they would probably, like, disown me. I'm pretty sure my dad would disown me. I don't know about my mother, because she has an aunt who's gay, and I don't know about her, but, and they're really accepting of my gay friends, but I don't think they would want a gay child. And it's kind of fucked up. And so I wanted to talk about the complexity of it all. About who are you when you're not around your parents. And I was always taught, I'm from, like, not a strict household, but a household where, the things that were acceptable were known very early on. And I come from a house where some things are really good and some things are really bad to do. And it's not like other households. My parents are very traditionalist. They don't believe in interracial dating or interracial marriage or interracial children. And that is why I have not talked to my eldest sister since I was 9 years old. It's because she fell in love with and married a black man, and they were not okay with it. And that really hurt, because I lost my sister because my parents wanted to be jackasses about it all. But they're completely okay with my brother, who is a felon and a horrible person, and, someone who's not suitable to be a parent. And I'm not defending this guy because he is, like, the guy my sister married, because he is a really bad guy. But my parents wouldn't know that, because they don't actually know him. They don't know anything about him. And the only reason that they weren't accepting of him was because he was black. My sister-in-law, Maria, has a boyfriend who happens to be black. And one time we were planning something. I think it was Christmas. Because Christmas was weird this year because my grandpa had to work on Christmas, so we had to do a bunch of stuff on Christmas that we usually on Christmas Eve that we usually save for Christmas night, like everything that happens at his house, like the dinner and stuff. And I'm sorry, I'm playing with my hair. This is really personal, and I'm just kind of letting it go. So we were talking about Christmas Day and whether or not he would be over there. And my dad said, no offense to him, but I lost my daughter to one of those. So why would I let my daughter-in-law bring one in? And I couldn't help but get offended. Because I'm nothing like my parents. I don't have their bad qualities. I have all their good qualities. My parents are very loyal, and they're very loving, and they're very supportive, and they're very concerned about everything. But it's just how they were raised. And I don't take that as an excuse for them. I take that as the reason. Like, there's no excuse to be that way. There really isn't. There's no excuse to be judgmental like that. But some people don't understand why I haven't just told my parents about the fact that I'm bisexual. And it's because I love them so much. And I don't want to break their hearts. And I don't want to break who they are or what they stand for. And I don't want them to have to compromise themselves for me. Because I'm just their child. I'm not something that should take over their lives. There are 6 of us. I shouldn't be the focus just because I'm the one who's different. I just recently told my sister it was right before Christmas. It was like early November, actually. I went home for the weekend and I told her. And I told like some of my friends who didn't know because I knew they would tell my sister. And she looked at me and she was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, I knew. And we went on with it all. I was like, how did you know that? I mean, is it that obvious? Like, is it so obvious that Mom and Dad probably know and they're just not telling me that they know and they're waiting for me to tell them? I don't feel safe enough to tell my parents these things. I think that's why I started YouTube. It's because I just don't feel safe enough to talk about this with them. I don't because I know that I'm in college and I'm completely dependent on them. And it makes me really sad. And I just needed a place to vent. And so if you're watching this video and you're kind of bored, you can leave. I mean, it's not going to offend me. If this doesn't apply to you, it's not going to offend me. But this is going to apply to someone somewhere out there. And I want them to know that it's okay to not tell your parents until you're ready. I know that I'm not going to be ready until I'm not dependent on them anymore because I know exactly what's going to happen. Either they're going to be extremely accepting or they're going to be extremely unaccepting. There's not going to be an in-between. There's not going to be okay, we don't accept this about you, but we still love you because you're our daughter. It's not going to be like that. I've seen it not be like that. I've literally not seen my sister in over half of my life. I just turned 19 last weekend. So I've literally not seen her for over half of my life. And I keep Facebooking her and I keep trying to find her number and I keep trying to get in contact with her and she just doesn't want to. And it's because of my parents. My parents made me lose my sister. And that hurts so bad sometimes. It's not... It's kind of like she died. But it's worse. Because it's not that she died and there's nothing I can do about it. It's that she's living. But she just doesn't want anything to do with me. I'm sorry, I didn't want to get emotional. I really didn't. But that hurts worse, you know. Anybody who's been through a bad breakup, it's like, it's not that they're It's worse than that they're dead, because when they're dead, you don't have a choice in it. It's that they're alive and they don't care enough about you to want to know you. And that can be so discouraging sometimes. But the point of this video is to tell you that life is complicated and sometimes you have to put on different hats and faces. And you just have to be different parts of yourself to be able to be with the people that you love. And it sucks. But it's the truth. Life isn't, cut and dry. Sometimes it's either you choose between this or me. And if it came down to it, I don't know which one I would choose. Being completely myself or having my parents. I don't know what it would do. Like I said, my sister knows. So if anything, I know that someone knows who's not just like a friend of mine or something. I know that someone in my family loves me enough to not give a damn about it. And that really does help. Like, that's the best thing ever. So if you're having trouble coming out to your parents or someone, find a family member. Find someone so close to you you consider them family and tell them. And even if it backfires and you lose them, at least now you will know if they really loved you. And that sounds so contradictory because I won't tell my parents, but it's because I know what their reaction is going to be. So I'm not going to tell them if I know exactly what's going to happen. What would be the point in that? For them to have one less child? For me to have two parents gone out of my life? I don't know how my sister did it. She was 18. I'm 19 and I don't think I could go without them. So how she did it at 18, I will never know. And I don't know if she watches my videos, and I don't know if she even knows that I'm still alive, or that my sisters have children and my brother has a child, and that my little sister is in a very serious relationship and might be getting married in the next couple of years, that I'm in college, that I graduated. I mean, I think every year on my birthday, I think, did she even care today? Does she know what today is? Because every year on her birthday, I cry. Because I don't have a way of telling her happy birthday. I really don't. And it hurts so bad. Because she was my hero for the longest time. Like, she was my big sister, and she was my hero. And I looked up to her, and I wanted to be just like her when I was little. I wanted to be just like her. But sometimes you have to give stuff up. And sometimes you have to let go. And sometimes you have to give up. You have to give up on people sometimes. And it sucks, but it's the truth. And I don't know if this video helped anybody, but if it did, I'm sorry that you had to watch it. I'm sorry that this applies to you. Because if someone's speaking from it, there are no better words than it just sucks. It's just awful, and I hate it, but it's the truth. So I'm going to go, but I will touch you guys sometime this week, and I promise it'll be a better video than this one. A little lighter. It'll probably be, what Jimmy Fallon was like. I'll make one of those videos sometime this week. But I am going home for the weekend, so I probably won't make any. So I will see you guys after the weekend. Okay? Alright, I love you guys. And I appreciate so much of your support and your love. So thank you. Okay, bye.